Shake and Bake from shakespub.net. We're back in Heroes and Generals. It's been a long time since I've done a Heroes and Generals in video, and it's not that I don't want to. It's just that I wanted something fresh. You know, when you've done over 100 plus videos on a game, they can get somewhat stale. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to make videos just to make them. So this video, I thought of this idea, and I think this could be useful to people, is all about the 3 different classes of sniper rifles. And I've had people ask me, you know, which do I prefer and all that, and I never really, I guess, responded in a good way. And this is my response to that. And I'm basically going to break it down in detail, starting off with the schematics here of the different weapons. Now this, I'm going to compare the weapons, the US, the Soviet, and the German sniper rifles without any mods. These are unmodded. And what I'm going to do is show you this first, and then we're going to get in the game. I'm actually going to shoot each weapon, and we're going to break down each of the, basically the firing mechanics of each weapon, and I'm going to talk about that, pros and cons, and get to see it in detail. So if you're thinking about becoming a sniper, this may help you once you kind of see a breakdown each of them. And also I'm going to talk about the feel of the weapons, because there is kind of a feel to the weapons too as well. So let's get into this. So I got 3 weapons in front of me here. We've got the US sniper down at the bottom left, the M1903. We got the K98K up here on the top, and that's the Germans. And then we got the Mosin Nagant, I don't know if I say that right, 1891-30, and that is with the Soviets. So the way I'm going to do this is on a kind of an overview first, and that basically is over at the equipment point. So rate of fire for the U.S. sniper rifle, the M1903, is 35 rounds per minute. The K98 is 34, so a little less rate, and then the Soviet is 34 as well. So rate of fire, you're going to get most rate of fire out of, and this is unmodded, on the M1903. U.S. sniper. Now, reload time, you got 4.9 seconds on the M1903. The German K98, you've got 5.2, so longer reload time up here, and then 5.1, so a little less. So reload time goes to, again, to the U.S. sniper rifle. Second is the Soviet, the Mosin, and then third, the K98 at 5.2. Magazine size, they're all at 5, so no difference there. Now let's take a look, breakdown as far as damage and over distance and accuracy. So let's start off. We're going to start off, and we're going to break it down from basically 0 to 250 meters. Let's go ahead and zoom in here a little bit. We're going to look at first the M1903, the American sniper rifle. And you'll see right away, it starts off, this is unmodded again, with just above 50 here, right? So maybe like 55 damage, and it goes almost out to 250, so about 200 meters. Now, when you compare that to the K98, you can see it's almost right at 50, maybe 51, and it goes out to about 200 meters. And so a little less damage there. And with the Soviet sniper rifle, you're right again, about 51, same as the K98. But it doesn't quite go out as far. I'd say a little as short, maybe 190-ish, 180. So again, starting off damage-wise, unmodded, you're going to get more of that out of the American M1903 sniper rifle. Okay, now, you get to 250, right? And they're pretty much all starting to drop at 250 there. Let's look closer now from 250 to 500. So you can see the M1903 is dropping down about 40-ish, it looks like, when it gets to 500. The K98, same thing, pretty similar to the American sniper rifle. Now, where you'll see a difference here is with the Mosin, is it drops off, and if you look over here, it drops off at about, I don't know, 450-ish there, and then levels out, where the other ones, the K98 and the M1903, keep going. So you'll see this flattening out effect right here with the Mosin the farther you go out in distance. Now, you got to understand, most of your targets obviously are not going to be out at 500 meters or farther, so you need to know that. Okay, so let's go now 500 to 750. You'll see here it keeps dropping, and it gets down to about the, I'd say, 40-ish range in damage, and then levels out. And that happens right about here at, I don't know, about 600-ish, right in the middle in there. Now, the K98 doesn't flatten out till closer to 750. So it's going to basically have a little more damage farther out than the M1903. Now, what's interesting, though, here is with the Mosin, it flattens out and stays flat all the way through 1,000 meters. And it does that quicker. It does that about 450 when compared to the M1903 and the K98K. They all flatten out then all the way out to 1,000 meters. So you can kind of get a breakdown there of the three different weapons. You know, most of your targets are going to be out to 250, 300-ish. So starting out unmodded, to me, it looks like the M1903 has more power, knockdown power, and actually reloads. The rate of fire is faster than the other two weapons. And the only thing, though, is you're going to suffer on is reload time. So they kind of balance out in that way. Not a huge difference between them. You know, obviously the difference starts to come into play when you mod these weapons. If you look at the schematic of the shot pattern, the shot group, and I'm not sure if these are accurate, but again, when you look at these right here, you can see, I mean, there's 3 shots in the black here, 1 in the red with the M1903. You zoom in on the K98, they got 2, and a little more of a spread there. It looks like shooting a little bit higher. And then when you look at the Mosin here, the shot group is even farther apart. I'm not sure if that diagram is accurate, but it almost gives the impression that the Reacher is more, or not the Reacher, geez, that's the name of my weapon, that the M1903 is more accurate unmodded than the other 2 weapons. So that's a detailed breakdown. Let's actually look at how these weapons look when they fire, and we'll break that down, and I'll give you my opinion on how the animation may affect your ability to shoot targets in Heroes and Generals. Okay, guys, so I'm going to show you first that all 3 are unmodded. Just in case people think I didn't do that, but I want to show you basically the Soviet mechanic badge. I have badges that don't affect the shooting, but you see here the Reacher 2 for Sheikanatsky is unmodded. No mods on that. Again, though, has the 8x scope. And then Sergeant Shakenstein's like a scavenger badge, and we have an unmodded rifle right here, as you can see, the K98K, and then my American sniper right here, Sergeant Shakers, again with the Reacher, unmodded, no mods, and the badge is Logistics Expert. So what we're going to do is we are going to get in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do each soldier from the prone at a target. We'll shoot 5 shots, go immediately to kneeling, 5 shots, reload, go to standing, 5 shots. We're going to put those side by side and kind of do a breakdown of what those look like for each of the different sniper classes, different units, different armies. I'm also going to do a slow motion of the reload animation, and then for standing to see how quick does it get back on target, and we'll have those side by side as well. And I'm going to pick out a target probably about 250, maybe 300 meters out, which I think is about a good average range for the sniper in this game. All right, let's get to it. All right, guys, here we go. This is the meat and potatoes. You know, and man, the things I saw in this comparison are pretty awesome. So we're going to check this out. What I did basically is I synced this all up. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's pretty close. From the prone, how quick does the weapon get stable? 5 shots from the prone, 5 shots from the kneeling, and 5 shots from standing. At the end, we'll do a slow motion breakdown of the reloading. Once a round goes off, reloading. Talk about that. I do have a timer as well. I'm going to break down each of the reloading speeds because part of this was, looking back at the images for each of these is, rate of fire and reload time. So we're going to look at that, compare it to these videos. And again, I mean, this is not going to be perfect, but pretty close. But there's some pretty telling things here. And I'm actually going to weigh in at the end and tell you, based on what I did here, my thoughts. I'm going to kind of rank the weapons 1 through 3, and it may surprise you. So here we go. Okay, so let's stop right there. You see the timer's going to come up, and it's going to time this from the first, basically going to the prone, the first shot going off, until that last round is fired. And we'll see kind of who comes in first, second, and third as far as speed. And also, again, we'll look at the reload speed. Here we go. Now, right at the start, you're going to notice something. And I'm going to talk about this because it goes by pretty quick, is I hit the prone, you got the wobble, it's shaking because you're breathing hard and all that. You're going to see the top right is the K98, the German sniper rifle. Bottom left, we got the Mauser, Mosin, whatever, how are you going? The Mosin, Soviet sniper rifle, and top left, the American. Pretty much the German and the Soviet stabilize fairly quickly. I give an edge to the German, and the last to stabilize is the American sniper rifle. Here we go. Right there. Ready a first shot off from the German K98. 3 seconds into it. Ready at the second shot, then the Mosin, then the M1903. Okay, let's start. I'm already done at the prone in 12 seconds with the German one. And I'll tell you right now, the stability of the German K98 was crazy. Compared to these other weapons. I mean, the Soviet one was pretty close to it. And I'm going to show you in a minute. The American sniper rifle, again, this is unmodded, was all over the place. Let's look at reload speed, because one of the things they said in reload speed was that the American 1903 is supposed to be the fastest, then the Mosin, I'll call it the 1891, and then comes the K98. Now, let's see if that's actually true according to this. So what we're going to do here, let's go back and back it up just a hair, and we're going to first focus over here on the top right on the K98. Here we go. All right, well, here we go. Hold on. Right there. It's starting to reload. Basically at 12 seconds. Now, let's see how long it takes before all those rounds are in. Done. 4 seconds. About 4 seconds for that K98 to reload. Now, according to the diagram we looked at earlier, it says the K98 is 5.2 seconds. Now, again, this is not going to be perfect, but I would say that's a pretty big disparity from what I saw here in game and on the card. A difference of 1.2 seconds. Now let's look at the Soviet 1891. Let's back it up a little bit here. Bottom left down here. Let's wait for the last shot. Right there. 14 seconds. Basically the same time as the German. And it's at 19, so it was a little bit slower, it looked like. The German one got done faster and got up to scope even quicker. So, again, the Soviet 1891 was supposed to be, 5.1, 0.1 second faster than the K98, but it looks like actually it was a little slower, about basically 5 seconds. Let's now, again, this is kind of going against what I showed earlier. Now, the Reacher here, the M1903, the American sniper, top left, let's look at its reload speed. Let's fire a shot off here. Boom. Actually, let's back it up here. We'll back this up. Right there. So, 14 seconds. right? 14 seconds, top left here. Let's see how long it takes. Done. 5 seconds. So about that. So it looks like actually the American M1903 and the Soviet 1891 are about the same speed, reload speed. And shockingly, the K98 actually was the fastest at about 4 seconds, which is supposed to be the slowest. So that was interesting to me, finding that out. Let's keep going. And already the German sniper's already in the kneeling or standing. Okay, so basically at 42 seconds, I'm already done shooting the K98, the German sniper rifle. The Soviet's going to come in next, and then, no, actually it's going to be the American, and last is going to be the Soviet 1891 at 48 seconds. Okay, so 48. So first it came, again, 5 rounds from prone, 5 from kneeling, 5 from standing, K98, then the American sniper rifle, M1903, then the Soviet 1891-30. Before I show this next piece, I'll just say one thing. It feels like when I'm shooting, and this has surprised me because I've really shot mostly with the American sniper and the Soviet, not the German. The German one blew me away by how stable it was and how quick I could get on target, whether that was in the prone, kneeling, or standing. Then kind of second was the Mosin, and then third was the American sniper rifle, the 1903. It was all over the place. And this next part, I'm going to do the slow motion, and this is the telling point. And then I'm going to sum this up. Here we go. Here's the shot groups, actually. I did go up and look at the shot groups, and you could see here, American sniper top left, really wide pattern there. The German one is pretty tight right in here. That's just because it felt so stable between shots and the ability to line them up, and again, in all standing positions. And then we got the Mosin there. So almost like it was the best shot group, I think, with the German, then the Soviet, and then the American. Okay, here comes the slow motion part. Okay, right here. So let's just stop right here. So the shots are all fired at the same time. American, German, Soviet down here at the bottom left. And this is so telling. And this, for me, was really this aha moment of, I got to try a different sniper rifle. And here we go. Shot goes off. This is a standing position. Now watch this. Here comes the reload. Now look at this right here. Now, basically the German K98 and the Mosin 1891-30 are pretty much identical reloading here, right? And this is important because this crosshair is getting off target. And you're going to have to get, let's say you hit the person the first shot. Now you got to get him on the second. Well, you got to get that crosshair back to that person. Look how far off target the M1903 scope goes. Let's keep going with this. Now, look at that. Look at the extreme. All the way up there, all the way down the bottom right. But look at the German. I mean, it is pretty close to where the target was, which is right here. Same with the Mosin down here. Big difference. And look at that. I mean, back up. It's just swinging up, top left, down right. A little bit here in the German. Again, a little bit on the Soviet. These are pretty much identical. And it's still wiggling up there. It's still off target because here's the target. And then finally, back on target. I'm going to show that to you again, but I'm going to show it to you full speed. Because I want you to see the slow motion and full speed because it really will show you the difference basically in, I'll call it kick reload animation. But look at this. Watch that. Look at the scopes. Identical pretty much, except for one thing, the hand. So on the K98, your image or your peripheral vision is going to be much more blocked out than the Soviet 1891. And you're also going to have it really blocked out here on the M1903. So if you want that peripheral vision to see more around here, you're definitely going to get that more with the 1891-30. So Let me back that up. I didn't point that out last time. I wanted you to see that. Let's just back up a little. I want you to see this in full speed here. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the top. Look at that. Just all over the place. So, what do I conclude with this? Well, I'm not pointing out any favorites here as far as, or do I think that the game is set up in any way to favor one rifle? I don't think that at all. The top left American sniper rifle, I think you do get more punch with it, but it definitely, to me, is, after doing this, is harder to get on target, and is, when you fire, harder to get back on target, and it doesn't stabilize as quick as the German and Soviet sniper rifles. I feel what the Soviet rifle, I feel like I have more visual ability to see around the scope and to target in, and the weapon almost seems to have more of a weight to it. The German K98, man, is like a laser beam. It stabilizes so quickly before the shot, during the reload, all of that. It has the most stability, in my opinion, and again, these are unmodded, than all three of these. That really is going to make me try that out a lot more. The American, when you're all over the place, there's a lot of sway going on, a lot of recoil and reload animation. Definitely, I think, harder to hit a target, but it's got a little more punch. And again, what was interesting, though, the big thing, too, is that the K98 reloaded the fastest out of all three weapons. And then the Soviet and the American were pretty much tied. So that did surprise me because, again, according to their image, the K98 is supposed to be the slowest. So I'm not sure what's going on there. So if I had to rank them, and I was on the battlefield, and I'm looking for stability and accuracy out to, 300 meters, I'm definitely going to go with the K98. And I think I'm going to go with the, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Mosin Next 1891-30, just because it has that stability as well, it has a cool sound to it. I can see more around the edges because the reload animation, the hand's not blocking as much. And I can say last place, even though I've used this one for years, if you know from my videos, is the M1903. You're not going to have as much stability. It's going to be harder to hit targets, and you're pretty much going to have about the same damage as the other weapons, maybe a little hair more with the M1903. I hope this, guys, has helped you guys out that may be curious about this. I learned some things doing this video, as you can see. Like to hear your comments. What do you think? What do you think about the different weapons? And does this have you wondering about maybe trying out some of these other rifles? Cheers, peace, guys. Thanks for the sub, thanks for the likes, and I'll see you on the battlefield.